signing
our
the check.
money, but they're not our bills, that's even better.
How you doing parking on the lower level?
Everybody's getting
I thought very well.
We gonna get some signs?
We're early.
There's no signs.
Crazy.
You'd be like, what? Pay for my own?
Exactly.
My miles?
She's commenting about some of her
Like
colleagues.
3-hour parking.
On the low, oh, you mean on the main?
When you take a left, the Delaware got their signs, and the surgery center got their signs.
You have all those?
It's Mr. Ledwith that.
I'm holding out on the sign.
Huge
I'm buying the sign painting kit.
I could definitely do that for a couple of days.
Very professional.
Sign stanchions also?
Very professional. Yeah. And then the other thing was the thing with the attorney.
Yeah, no,
We wanted to don't do anything until we and you had a chance to talk about strategy, because that's
Only 50, 40 something or stuff like that.
If you go in any of these cars, it's already
so we coordinate our actions, so even if we submit separately, we're coordinating the same.
Even today was pretty good. We have a busy night, so we're
But I told them, don't do anything.
start the special services district meeting. Good evening, everybody. This is our West Hartford Center Special Services District meeting, 50 South Main Street, Legislative Chambers. Here we are. And we will start with Mr. David.
Roll call. Commissioner Blanks.
Present.
Commissioner Cantor. Commissioner Cortez.
Here.
Commissioner Fay.
Here.
Commissioner McGinnis.
Present.
Commissioner Poland.
Here.
Commissioner Walters.
Here.
Commissioner Wendigrad.
Here.
Commissioner Zananowits. Commissioner Spivak.
Here.
Commissioner Johnson.
Here.
Commissioner Bassanese.
Here.
Commissioner Suffian.
Thank you, Mr. Davidoff. Public forum, I don't think anyone has signed up to speak. There's nobody in the audience. So, Mr. Davidoff, have you received any comments online?
No, Madam Mayor.
Okay. So I'm looking for a motion to approve the minutes from April 24th, 2024.
So moved.
Second. Motion's been made and seconded. Any questions or comments? All right, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. And then we'll go to number 4, new business, adoption of schedule of meetings for 2025. I'd like a motion to approve.
Move to approve the schedule of meetings for 2025.
Second. Motion's been made and seconded. Any questions or comments? Mr. Ledwith?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. If you don't mind, I'll just briefly go through the
Sure.
schedule for the upcoming year, because there is a slight modification. So our first meeting will be held on January 14th, 2025 at 6:30 p.m. That's our annual general meeting of the membership. And this is a change from our normal schedule year to year. So you may recall, meetings must be held on the first Tuesday after the first Monday of January. That often does not fall on the night of a council meeting. So by way of resolution, we ask the board to vote to move that first meeting to January 14th and bypass that provision in our bylaws, if that makes sense. And then the remainder of the schedule for the year is pretty standard. March 11th, 6:30 p.m., that would be our preliminary budget presentation. We would have a budget hearing on April 8th at 6:30 p.m., and we would adopt the budget on April 22nd at 6:30 p.m., and then next November 12th, 2025, we would set the 2026 schedule of meetings in November of 25. So through you, Madam Mayor, happy to answer any questions that the commission had.
Thank you, Mr. Ledwith. I just want a refresher, and I don't know if you have this handy, is the time frame on the completion of the Special Services District according to the bylaws of the LUBAC. Was it
So we actually, Deputy Corporation Counsel and myself actually just had this conversation a couple of days ago, and I think I shared this with Ms. Johnson as well. So our bonds will, a bond will officially be paid off in October of 2025. I do believe the Special Services District would remain in place through that fiscal year, and then we would have to make a determination of how we would move forward from there. Am I correct? Thank you.
Yes, okay. Any questions or comments on the dates calendar? Okay, seeing none, voice vote. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. And then we have staff reports. Mr. Ledwith.
No staff report for everyone this evening, Madam Mayor.
Okay,
Thank you.
there are no staff reports, so I will make a motion, unless there's nothing further, I'll make a motion to adjourn. Are there any objection? I can do that, actually, I don't need to second. All right, but any objections? No? All in favor? Aye, okay. Any opposed? No? Okay, we are adjourned. Thank you all very much. Have a good, warm evening.
Chairs got cold.
I'm trying to block cold air off the window.
I'm happy about it.
That's the only place that's cold, too. Breathed on that.
Anything happens, but that's so cold. The chairs get so cold. I'm getting used to now.
But you know, limbs.
All right. I'm calling the November 12th Town Council meeting to order, and we will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Roll call, Mr. Davidoff.
Good evening, Madam Mayor. Counselor Blanks.
Present.
Mayor Cantor.
Here.
Counselor Cortez.
Here.
Counselor Fay.
Present.
Counselor McGinnis. Counselor Poland.
Here.
Counselor Walters.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Winograd.
Here.
Counselor Zidanowicz.
Here.
Thank you, Mr. Davidoff. I am going to start with a couple of comments. One is, I am just so truly devastated, and I know my town manager, my colleagues on the council, devastated by the loss of the life of Patricia Patty Boulot, who was struck by a car and killed on Friday. Patty was 87 years old. She was sharp and vibrant, classy and giving. Our thoughts go out to her family and friends that were blessed to have her in their lives, and there's lots of people that shared their own interactions with her, and Ms. Blanks actually had shared hers as well. So I'd just like to take a moment of silence and remember Patty and think about how fragile life can be. Thank you all very much. And just to build on that, we are now in heading towards the shortest days of the year. And that 5 to 6 o'clock time frame is a very, very difficult time for drivers to see pedestrians and bicyclists. And although we have been working tirelessly and investing good amounts, I think, on and receiving grant money to make our community safer, we can't do it fast enough. But we also need cooperation from our community, visitors to our community, to slow down their cars, look for pedestrians, especially in crosswalks. And if you are a pedestrian, just try to be extra careful and safe and turn on a flashlight on your phone or wear a reflector or something. We now have installed a number of flashing beacons. If you are at a crosswalk with a flashing beacon, make sure you press the button to turn it on. Okay, I just want to extend a few more comments. Send a thank you to our registrar of voters, Elizabeth Rousseau and Beth Kyle. They did, and their assistants, they did an amazing, amazing job on a very busy election. Our poll workers were tremendous. Okay, well, I still have thank yous, though. Our poll workers were tremendous. I had so many comments about absentee voting and how helpful the poll workers were, and our town clerk, Leon Davidoff, for his tireless effort in absentee voting and making sure that all the access was safe and protected, and it was really, really amazing. So our election period, not election day, election period, was accurate, accessible, and as smooth as possible. And just to take note, we are I know our town council and residents are so grateful to all of you. Our voter turnout was 83%, which was one of the higher in the state, and we expect it to be that way. We have a very engaged constituency, and we're thrilled that things went so smoothly. But again, it did not come without significant effort. The state ballot measure passed to allow no excuse early voting, which puts us in line with most states now, and that will continue to be a commitment of many on our town clerk and his staff. I also we have just had a big election. I want to congratulate President Donald Trump, on winning this presidential election. My wish is for the president to prioritize unity and work towards solutions that benefit all citizens. The well-being of our nation needs to be of utmost importance for the success of our leaders. Congratulations as well to members of our Connecticut congressional delegation who were reelected, and of course to the members of the West Hartford's delegation to the General Assembly who received overwhelming support: State Senator Derek Slapp, State Representatives Tammy Exum, Jillian Gilchrist, Kate Farrar, Jimmy Sanchez, and Bobby Gibson. I also extend my sincere gratitude to all the candidates who ran, especially Vice President Kamala Harris and Governor Tim Walz. Kamala and Tim have dedicated their lives to public service. And for anyone that has heard Kamala speak, she has said her service has been for the people. As a prosecutor, U.S. Senator, our first female vice president, I know her voice for justice, women's rights, and for women's reproductive health care will continue to be very important to our country. Living in a democracy means accepting the results of free and fair elections, even those that do not go your way. I recognize many in our community might be feeling a mix of emotions, including disappointment and uncertainty. 74% of our community voted for the losing candidate. It's important to remember that elections are just one part of our democratic process, and that our voices and actions continue to matter regardless of the outcome. Now, more than ever, it's essential to seek unity, bridge divides, listen and seek solutions that address everyone's needs. By fostering open dialogue, we can work toward a future where everyone feels represented in our democracy. Let me close with a call to action. The American experiment in representative democracy relies on the active participation of all of its citizens. As Tiffany, Barry, and I saw last Thursday, dozens of red wagons roll into Town Hall from Morley School loaded with food items to stock our food pantry for the upcoming holidays. And as second grader Hadley said, she loves making people happy by helping to give to people that are in need of food. And then she smiled ear to ear and said, I just really love doing this. We have so many opportunities for people in West Hartford to serve others and make our community stronger and more connected. Your involvement in your home and business communities will help the community, but will also help you. And remember Hadley saying, I just really love doing this. I encourage you to engage with your neighbors, school communities, faith organizations, civics organizations, and look into service on our town boards and commissions. This is an important way to shape local policy on public safety, parks, recreation, housing, zoning, and so much more. I encourage you to visit the town clerk's website. Many people have done so, I actually heard today, to submit expression of interest forms for appointment to a board or commission. And when more citizens get involved, our democracy only becomes stronger, more inclusive, and reflective of our diverse community. So I pray for our country and the future of our country and the safety of every person in our country. And I also pray for our beautiful community of West Hartford, Connecticut. And now we will go to a proclamation. And this is a proclamation of Native American Heritage Month, and I think we did this proclamation in previous years, but we're adding a new piece to it, and that is a land acknowledgement. Our DEI officer, Adrian Billings-Smith, has done a lot of research with a task force, and they are guiding me on this land acknowledgement. And I'll explain what a land acknowledgement is in a minute. But this proclamation, whereas in recognition of Native American Heritage Month, we celebrate the rich history, culture, and traditions of Native Americans and acknowledge their significant contributions to our society. At the same time, we reflect on the many challenges Indigenous communities have faced throughout our history, as well as the challenges they continue to endure today. And whereas the town of West Hartford acknowledges that we reside on the ancestral homelands of indigenous peoples and tribes, past and present, including but not limited to the Pequannock, Wangunk, and Tungus. And whereas as part of our ongoing journey towards reconciliation with the original stewards of this land, we seek to honor, respect, and express our deep appreciation for indigenous peoples who have been and continue to be displaced by public and private policies. And whereas we will continue to educate ourselves and our community through various means on the history and culture of Native Americans in our state and around the nation, and continue to value their wisdom and knowledge. Whereas we affirm our commitment to acknowledging the sovereignty, resilience, and lived experiences of all indigenous peoples, we recognize that this acknowledgement is not an endpoint but a beginning, an invitation to engage in a deeper process of healing, stewardship, and shared responsibility. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that on behalf of the Town Council and the residents of West Hartford, I, Mayor Sherry G. Cantor, do hereby recognize the month of November as Native American Heritage Month on this 12th day of November. And a land acknowledgement, if anyone ever wants to use it for an event or something, it is a statement of, again, a beginning, not an end, and it really just reminds people of that we were not the first people on this land, that there were many people before us, and that a connection to the land and a connection and thinking about those people that lived here prior to us. We acknowledge the town of West Hartford resides on the ancestral homelands of indigenous peoples, tribes, and past and present. I guess it's pretty much the same. We honor and respect these stewards of the land. We honor the rich history, culture, traditions of the indigenous peoples, and serve as a reminder of the importance in respecting and uplifting voices and cultures of Native American and indigenous peoples in all aspects of their lives. We honor the sovereign resilience and lived experiences. So it's really just a good portion of the proclamation. But if we have it now on file, if anyone would like to use it for any events, please just let either our town clerk know, or our Adrian Billings-Smith also has that language available. All right. We go to public forum. Mr. Dodge. Thank you. We have Ernest Orso, and I just do want to, I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. I don't know if this was a sign-in sheet, but the comments on town council have to relate to something on the agenda. Otherwise, we write in ahead and receive comments. So, okay, thank you very much. Then we will go to consent calendar. Mr. Winograd.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Without objection, I move that items 5A, 10A, and 10B be placed on the consent calendar.
Thank you, Mr. Winograd. Is there any objection? Hearing no objection, the items are placed on consent. Mr. Winograd.
I move adoption of the consent calendar.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We will go to 7A. Mr. Winograd.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Without objection, I move that we receive the application filed on behalf of WeHa Development Group, LLC, owner of 1800 Asylum Avenue, for change of zone of approximately 33.5 acres of the site from an R10 single-family zone to a BS shopping center zone with a special development district designation overlay for the redevelopment of the site into a new mixed-use development and of commercial and residential uses, along with associated parking and site amenities. Then we refer to Town Plan and Zoning Commission, Design Review Advisory Commission for the required review, and set for public hearing on December 19th, 2024 at 5:30 p.m.
Thank you, Mr. Winograd. Is there any objection? Okay, there being no objection, the motion is adopted. B, Mr. Winograd.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Without objection, I move that we receive the ordinance concerning the Fair Rent Commission and set for public hearing on December 10th, 2024 at 7:15 p.m.
Is there any objection? There being no objection, the motion is adopted. C, Mr. Winograd.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Without objection, I move that we receive the ordinance concerning the Director of Emergency Management and set for public hearing on December 10th, 2024 at 7:25 p.m.
Is there any objection? Hearing no objection, the motion is adopted. Letter D, Mr. Winograd.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I move to adopt a resolution revising the annual permit fees at the Yard Waste and Recycling Center.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Mr. Ledwith.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This resolution was discussed at our recent Public Works Facilities and Sustainability Committee meeting and would revise the permit fees charged at our recycling center. These fees have not been amended in 10 years. Meanwhile, our costs to dispose of these materials have increased significantly, particularly over the last several years, 69% alone in the last 3 years. These increases were factored into our fiscal year 25 budget and would increase the fee for passenger vehicles from $10 to $20. Passenger vehicles that had a trailer from $15 to $30. A fee for a pickup truck would move from $25 to $50, and then a pickup truck with a trailer would increase from $35 to $70. If the council were to approve this resolution, these fees would go into effect on January 1st of 2025.
Thank you, Mr. Ledwith. Mr. Walters, this came out of your committee. Would you like to?
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and through you. We did discuss this quite a bit in our Public Works meeting, and I do think that it's time to kind of recover some of the costs that we do spend on recycling and waste. So I obviously am in support of this increase, and I know that it is still below some of our surrounding neighbors, and as such, we're trying to keep the costs as low as we can, but really, when it comes down to it, we can't keep it so low that we're losing so much money on it. So it's time, past time probably, to raise the fees. And that's pretty much.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Walters.
Thanks.
Are there other comments or questions about the fees? Ms. Fay?
Yeah, thank you very much. Just a comment. They're low, generally speaking, they're not a big out-of-pocket item, but we're actually doubling the, rates. I understand they haven't been increased in quite some time. Was there any thought into staging them? Because that's a big jump. I remember when we changed the senior center membership fee, I think by $5 or something, there was a lot of concern about that. So I just was wondering if there's a different way to do it than all in one step. Thank you.
Through you, Madam Mayor, and staff did have the conversation about potentially stepping this out over a couple of years. I will likely be before the council in the future and do that exact strategy, not do this, we haven't done it in 10 years. Our costs have escalated, particularly over the last 3 years, to dispose of these materials. That's why we felt it necessary to make this jump after a 10-year window of not raising the fees at all. But I will say that I would be before the council in the future a little more frequently than waiting 10 years to have to increase our fees. So you're welcome.
Thank you, Ms. Fay. And you raise a good point. When you don't look at them or address those adjustments year over year, this is what happens, and it's unfortunate. But okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. And then we'll go to letter E, Mr. Winograd.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Without objection, I move that we receive and refer a resolution authorizing the town manager to accept the donation of 1700 Asylum Avenue to the Town Plan and Zoning Commission for their required review.
Thank you. Is there any objection? There being no objection, the motion is adopted. We'll go to letter F, Mr. Winograd.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I move to adopt a resolution appropriating grant funds to support early voting.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Mr. Ledwith.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This resolution will appropriate $16,605 that we received in a grant from the state to offset our early voting expenses. This grant is in addition to a $10,000 grant that we received earlier this year to offset early voting expenses incurred during the primary season. As the council knows, and as just mentioned by the mayor, our registrars and town clerk and their respective teams held a very successful early voting process for the presidential election, as West Hartford cast the second most votes, early votes in the state. So very proud of our team here. And this will offset some of our expenses, but as we know, will not really come close to covering the total expense. But it was a job well done on behalf of our team throughout those 2 weeks. So through you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Ledwith. And I'm sure we're going to be asked for some kind of accounting of what that cost to us was. So we should probably just.
We can do that. We can have it at an upcoming Finance and Administration Committee meeting.
Great. Any questions or comments? Okay, Ms. McGinnis.
Through you, Madam Mayor. Sorry, so I know the $10,000, that was a one-time grant or one-time payment that each town in the state received. Is this 16,000 something a one-time grant? Is it something that we'll have to ask for in the future, or is it known that it's just a one-time?
So we will, through you, Madam Mayor, we will talk with the state and see. This went to every community in the state, and certainly it's something we would like to rely on in the future, but it will depend on future state budgets, I would imagine, so.
The same amount went to every town, or was it?
No, it was based on size.
Okay.
So I don't remember the exact formula. I can get that for an upcoming F&A meeting as well, so, sure.
Thank you, Ms. McGinnis. Thank you, Mr. Ledwith. Any other questions or comments? All right. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Letter G, Mr. Winograd.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I move to adopt a resolution appropriating grant funds awarded under the Community Connectivity Grant Program.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. Mr. Ledwith.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This resolution will appropriate $697,000 from a community connectivity grant that we received from the state. These funds will be used to improve sidewalk facilities along Kane Street, Oakwood Avenue, in addition to about 16 other streets throughout town, including a connection of a sidewalk on Flag Road on the north side of Flag, providing a connection to Westmore Park. If you've walked along Flag, you'll notice that there is a big gap in between the sidewalk on Flag. So this will provide a connection of those two sidewalks across the street from Westmore Park. So very excited to have received this grant again from the state, and we'll be quickly making changes to our sidewalk infrastructure throughout town. So through you, Madam Mayor, happy to answer any questions that the council had.
Thank you, Mr. Ledwith. I just want to thank town staff for their continued commitment to looking for grant funding, and this was a great one for us, and hopefully more ideas and more applications will be forthcoming. So any comments or questions? All right, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Letter H, Mr. Winograd.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I move to adopt a resolution amending the general fund budget for fiscal year 2023-2024.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. Mr. Ledwith.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This resolution was discussed during our last Human and Community Services Committee meeting, and as a result of the national opioid settlement, municipalities.
I think there were one higher than this. It's the general fund budget fiscal year.
I'm so sorry. You're right. Skipping ahead.
Overall.
So, this resolution amending our general fund will allow us to amend the fiscal year 23-24 budget to account for an additional $406,000 expended in police overtime and $799,685 in fire overtime. This $1.2 million expenditure will be offset by an additional $1.2 million in additional investment income earned in the state short-term investment fund. This is a process, an annual accounting process that we go through every year. I don't want to say it's housekeeping when I'm referring to a $1.2 million conversation, but it is something that we do slightly under budget in our overtime for both police and fire, and then we use, whether it's income earned from investments or surplus to offset that expenditure. So in this case, it happened to be increase in our investment earnings that we were able to use to offset that expenditure for police and fire overtime. So through you, Madam Mayor, happy to answer any questions that you had.
Thank you, Mr. Ledwith. Any comments from? Yeah, Ms. Fay.
Thank you very much. I know we've hired some more police officers, thankfully, so that's very good. Will we see a decrease in overtime in the future, you think?
So through you, Madam Mayor, yes, we are down to 5 openings in our police department, and anytime we fill an opening, that will have an impact on reducing future overtime. So we should see a decrease in this number for next year, and we're very close to being fully staffed in our police department. We have a number of new hires coming through the process right now, and we are as close as we've ever been that I can remember to being fully staffed in our police department. So outstanding work on behalf of our chief and assistant chiefs. And on the fire department side, we have been fully staffed for the last year. So, yes.
Thank you, Mr. Ledwith. Great question, Ms. Fay. And yeah, it's all good news. All right. And we are, and it's not just that we're hiring people. The people we hire are amazing. Anyway, okay. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Letter I. Mr. Winograd?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I will now motion to move to adopt a resolution appropriating opioid settlement funds to support prevention programs and activities.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. Mr. Ledwith?
Thank you. As I was saying earlier, we did discuss this at a recent Human and Community Services Committee meeting. And as a result of the national opioid settlement, cities and towns throughout the state are receiving settlement funds as a result of this class action. And to date, we've received just short of $300,000. About a year ago, our Director of Leisure and Social Services and Assistant Director of Social Services worked with our West Hartford Prevention Council in the West Hartford Bloomfield Health District to identify the need to hire a part-time prevention coordinator to organize and align prevention-related activities throughout town, working with our health district, senior center, West Hartford Public Schools, Prevention Council, and the Bridge Family Center. As our council knows, that program has been very successful with the hiring of Gretchen. And as that program is expanding, we are requesting an additional $42,000 in opioid funds to hire a part-time clerk to assist with the program. Also use those funds to provide additional training for staff and youth. We would also use part of those funds to purchase Narcan. And then we would contract with the health district for a recovery coach. So through you, Madam Mayor, I'm happy to answer any questions that the council had regarding this request.
Thank you, Mr. Ledwith. I was wondering if Ms. Pullen wants to start discussion on this because of her committee.
Sure, thank you. Through you, Madam Mayor. I think Mr. Ledwith described that perfectly. Having Gretchen Levitz here as our coordinator has been, I think, transformational. It's not just about getting the money in the door. It's about prioritizing how to spend that money, how to coordinate all the efforts, because there are a lot of disparate efforts going on to help people recover from substance use and prevent people from entering into substance use to begin with. And to have someone who's able to figure out what's already happening, how can we make these programs work together in a more coordinated fashion, and what should we do with these extra funds coming in, I think has been very impactful for our community. I'm looking forward to bringing on an additional staff and some additional training for staff members in town and at the board level as well.
Thank you, Ms. Pullen. Any other comments or questions? No, I couldn't agree more. Gretchen's has really made such a difference in a very short period of time. And when you talk to individual students that she has touched or people she has touched, it's profound. And it's really, really amazing. So we're very grateful. for her efforts, but the resources to be able to do this. So. All right, to all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Letter J, Mr. Winograd.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I move to adopt a resolution appropriating American Rescue Plan Act grant funds.
Second?
Motion's been made and seconded. Mr. Ledwith.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This resolution was discussed at our last Public Works Facilities and Sustainability Committee meeting and will allow our Director of Public Works to move forward purchasing 40 in-ground trash receptacles and 2 EV litter vacuum vehicles, along with the EV charging infrastructure to support the vehicles, and we'd utilize ARPA funds to make this purchase. The in-ground trash receptacles are becoming more common in parks around the country, and the trash receptacle, as we talked about in our meeting, from the ground up looks like, you know, any other barrel that we have in town collecting trash. However, there's a sleeve that goes down about 8 feet into the ground, 5 feet of which would be holding trash, and these sleeves will act like a thermos, which will keep waste cool, which will eliminate the odors and will help reduce labor costs as well, so we don't have to pick up the trash as frequently as we do today. These barrels will be placed at parks throughout town and would also be placed at the trailheads along Trout Brook Trail. And the EV litter vacuum system will support the maintenance of the center and Blueback Square, and then the second vehicle would rotate around other parts of town like New Park Avenue, Park Road. These will lower our labor costs as well. Right now, if you drive through the center on any given morning, 7 mornings a week, you'll see public works staff out with a broom and a shovel, cleaning up the center or Blueback Square. These will be essentially run by one individual who can quickly move through the center and vacuum up the trash. It's much more efficient, saves in energy as well, and kind of helps us move towards our more sustainable West Hartford as well, utilizing the EV charging infrastructure. So I'll pause there, and through you, Madam Mayor, and happy to answer any questions that the council had.
Thank you, Mr. Ledwith. Mr. Walters, again, committee, I came out of your committee.
Thank you, and through you, Madam Mayor. You know, I very much appreciate Director Phillips' work on this. He's always looking for whatever's the best and newest, not necessarily the newest, but the best manner in which to handle whatever challenges before him. And in this case, it was, you know, making trash collection and cleanup an easier, more efficient, and more sustainable practice. And the fact that, you know, in the case of the EV vacuums, you know, they'll be able to do much more quicker. And with the trash cans, you know, we've been assured that, you know, there will be no, there shouldn't be any issues with rodents or our friendly bears in the neighborhoods and such. So I think that it's a good expense to make, and I cannot say enough about Director Phillips and his efforts in this and many things.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Mr. Walters. Any other comments or questions? I know that the businesses will really appreciate the extra support in cleaning up. We have a vibrant center, and oftentimes after a weekend, especially when the weather's good, there's some remnants of a lot of fun, and so this will be really helpful and supportive to our businesses. This is important to keep our center clean, and we're happy to see this. And again, I also want to thank Mr. Phillips for his incredible creativity and commitment and always keeping us moving forward. All right. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. And then we will go to K, Mr. Winograd.
Thank you, Madam. Thank you, Madam Mayor. I move to adopt a resolution appropriating grant funds to support the West Hartford Division 0 program 2024.
Second?
Motion's been made and seconded. Mr. Ledbetter.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And before I get into the details of the resolution, I as well wanted to take a moment to address the tragic loss of Patty Brulette. a resident, as the mayor had said, who was fatally struck by a vehicle on Oakwood Avenue on Friday evening. And on behalf of the town, I as well extend our deepest condolences to Patty's family and loved ones. This incident is a somber reminder to all of us of the importance of our ongoing commitment to make our streets safer for everyone. In February of this year, our town council formally adopted our Vision Zero action plan. And this past spring, thanks to the hard work of our state delegation, we were awarded $1 million from the state to implement Vision Zero projects, which is what tonight's resolution will in fact do. It will appropriate $1 million to the town to offset the costs of a number of projects that have taken place over the last several months. So since February, we have been working hard to design and implement nearly 70 projects totaling a total of $1 million, designed to improve pedestrian, cyclist, and driver safety on our streets. These efforts include installing raised crosswalks on Boulevard, Fern, and Tunxus. These have been well received by our community, and we will look to be doing several more of these in 2025. We have added rapid flashing beacons with high-intensity lighting at 10 different locations around town. We will be adding another 4 to 5 locations over the next several weeks, including 2 signs at the Oakwood and St. James crosswalk. We have also added accessible pedestrian signal equipment at many locations throughout town, traffic signal backplate additions at several locations throughout town. We have completed road safety audits on Albany Avenue and Cedric, and will continue the road safety audit program into 2025 as well. And while we have made strides, the recent loss certainly serves as a stark reminder that there's still much more to be done. We remain fully committed to our Vision Zero goals and will continue working to make every street on our town safer. Included in the upcoming year will be the implementation of a speed enforcement camera program, as well as the implementation of a $3.1 million Safe Streets for All grant that will also include a red light enforcement program in addition to several infrastructure projects around town. We will provide our Community Planning and Economic Development Committee with an update at our meeting next week to get more into the details of the projects that I just outlined. But just wanted to hit an overall summary of some of the bigger things that we've accomplished over the last several months. So with the council's approval of this resolution, we will offset essentially the $1 million that we've spent over the last 10 months. But with the $3.1 million we're getting from the Safe Streets for All for next year, and then additional funds we'll be putting into our capital improvement program for next year's budget as well, we will continue this significant financial investment in Vision Zero, not only this year, next year, but for the foreseeable future as we move towards 0 deaths and 0 serious injuries as a result of traffic crashes within 10 years. So I'll pause there. Through you, Madam Mayor, I'm happy to answer any questions about this particular grant or anything Vision Zero related as well.
Mr. Lemon, I just want to give a thank you. Just want to give a special thanks to Senator Slapp, who was and our legislative team for their help in securing this grant. This is important to our community. We are one of the leaders. Unfortunately, we still are. We were experiencing the tragedies that we just witnessed this week, and we want to prevent them. But we know that it will. This will help. I feel so. I'm so again brokenhearted and really sad that with all the efforts that we're doing that this happened. So there's always more we can do. But thank you to our Connecticut delegation for their support, and we're not giving up. We're going to keep moving forward and trying to make the community a better place for all road users at all times of day. And I just again would urge drivers to be alert respect red lights, stop signs, crosswalks, and for pedestrians, just be as visible for bicycle riders as well. Be as visible as you can be in these during these very short days. So, thank you. All right. Any other comments or questions? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Then we go to the reports from the town manager, Ms. Ledwith.
Thank you. I'll begin the town manager's report with a summary of upcoming meetings. We do have a Public Safety Committee meeting tomorrow morning, Wednesday, November 13th at 8 a.m. That meeting will be virtual. We have a Public Works Facilities and Sustainability Committee meeting on Thursday, November 14th at 6 p.m. Again, that meeting is virtual. Then we have a Community Planning and Economic Development Committee meeting on Wednesday, November 20th at 8 a.m. That meeting is virtual. And then Human and Community Services Committee meeting on Monday, November 25th at 6 p.m. That meeting is virtual as well. And then we'll be back in the town council chambers on Tuesday, November 26th at 7:30 p.m. for our next council meeting. So the town manager's report is online, and I'll just hit a couple of highlights here, if you don't mind. So, outdoor dining corrals will be removed this week. Public Works will remove the concrete barriers used for outdoor dining in West Hartford Center and Blueback Square this week. Our pumpkin recycling will continue to run through December 1st. As a reminder, Public Works encourages residents to recycle their pumpkins instead of throwing them in the trash. Pumpkins can be dropped off at two locations from now through December 1st, the DPW and Westmore Park. Collected pumpkins are sent to Quantum Biopower in Southington and turned into energy and compost. Last year, over 25,000 pounds of pumpkins were recycled. The town's weekly collection of bag leaves is underway and will run for 7 weeks until Friday, December 20th. Each week on your regular refuse collection day, crews will collect leaves in 30-gallon biodegradable paper bags or the brown yard waste cart. Place your leaf bags or cart at the curb by 6 a.m. on your trash collection day. And we had our most recent CERT graduation took place on Saturday, November 9th. The 8th training cohort of the West Hartford Community Emergency Response Team completed their training. The class included 26 students, including our town clerk, Leon Davidoff, as well as our Corporation Counsel's father, Dallas Dodge. So participants finished a comprehensive 20-hour training course covering first aid, CPR, general preparedness, search and rescue, fire safety, and the incident command system. To date, 295 residents have completed the training, which is just phenomenal. So anywhere we go, any event we have, we see the green T-shirts, and just always a sense of pride to see the amount of folks willing to step up and volunteer and help us in those situations. So that concludes the town manager's report this evening. Mayor, happy to answer any questions that the council had.
Thank you, Mr. Ledwith. So there's no admission kind of requirement for that? No, I'm teasing.
Obviously.
Obviously not. No. It really is so impressive. It's amazing. So thank you. All right. Reports for Corporation Counsel, Mr. Dodge.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and congratulations to Dad on becoming CERT certified. And I wasn't aware you get a nice green helmet for becoming certified, so maybe that might be enticing to others. Madam Mayor, I have no formal report this evening, and we do not require a executive session.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions for Corporation Counsel? All right, excellent. Then we go to, I think, announcements. I'll try to breeze through these fast. There's quite a few, but it is that time of year. Just a reflection. I mentioned the 30th anniversary of the Morley Red Wagon Drive. And again, my colleagues were helping. Both Mr. Walters and Ms. McGinnis were there, unloading many wagons. This was really amazing that over the 30 years, 75,000, they estimated 75,000 food items have supported the food pantry. And in 2023, more than 10,000 bags of food from our town's food pantry were given to more than 700 local families. We know the cost of food prices have continued to go up, and it's really been a burden for a lot of people. So we are grateful for all. If you have extra food, and it's really important to think about that, especially at the holidays. We always say also, especially at summertime when school lunches are not being served. This is just a really inspirational event. I also want to mention the Veterans Memorial. That was a beautiful event. I want to give a thank you to Latoya Fernandez for sharing her inspirational story. She's a member of our Board of Education. We also had Board Chair was there, again, Lorna Thomas Ferguson, and I think Claire Nisarella was also there. And my colleagues, Mr. Walters was there, Ms. Blanks was there, Ms. McGinnis was there, Ms. Pullen was there, and Mr. Winograd were also there. We did give shout outs to our veterans, and it was a beautiful program. And thank you to the Commander Heidi Ann Mooney for her work through Post Village 96. They're doing remarkable work. I also want to say it is such a blessing to see dear Ben Cooper and on that day. And it was a beautiful, beautiful weather, and so glad that he was able to make it. West Hartford U12 boys soccer team, I missed the championship this year, but they defeated Enfield 2-1 on Saturday, November 2nd, winning the Connecticut Cup championship for the second year. Nick Hunt, a King Philip Middle School student, scored both goals for West Hartford, and goalkeeper Dallas Judge IV had 8 saves to secure the win. Congratulations. We got 2 shout-outs with the Dodge family. Awesome. All right, 8th Annual Kindness Project will be taking place at the West Hartford Public Library from today till December 13th as part of this is a collection that will be donations will go to the food pantry and Fern Street Universalist Church as part of their backpack program. If you have any questions, you can look up the Kindness Project. There's a link on our website. These collect hygiene products and cleaning supplies for those in need at all library locations. United Methodist Church actually also does a similar drive. I actually will have Mr. Cortez share that in a minute. Noah Webster House 5th Annual Holiday Market will take place November 16th and 17th, and then December 6th from 5 to 8 p.m. On the 17th, actually, will be 10 a.m. to 3 p.m., 20 local vendors, and it is a great place to do some holiday shopping. And also December 7th and 8th from 10 to 3. A $5 donation upon entry is suggested. Pride Rally will take place November 17th. This is West Hartford. And actually, Barry, why don't you share that? Original Promise of America is The Pursuit of Happiness, November 21st. This is the last series of free lectures leading up to America's 250th anniversary, exploring how the revolutionary generation defined its new nation, to be held on November 21st, Noah Webster House from 6:30 to 7:30. Jean Leach is the featured speaker and is a longtime West Hartford resident and retired American Studies professor at Trinity College. United Against Hate, Identifying, Reporting, and Preventing Hate Crimes will also be sponsored by the U.S. Attorney's Office, will be held on November 21st from 6 to 8:30 p.m. at West Hartford Town Hall. Screenagers, Next Chapter, Supporting Adolescent Mental Health, will also be on November 21st. A film screening and panel discussion promoting teen wellness will be held at Bristow, and pizza will be served. The community members and students in 6th grade and up are welcome to attend at 6 to 7:30 at Bristow School. Ron Foley Foundation Vigil for World Pancreatic Cancer Day will also be on November 21st. Wow, that is the day. Will take place at 5 p.m. The Candlelight Vigil will take place at West Hartford Veterans Memorial in honor and remember of those touched by pancreatic cancer. I'm sure all of us know somebody, unfortunately. Turkey drop-off for Connecticut Food Share will take place on Sunday, November 24th. This is a partnership with the Mayali team at Keller Williams and will be a town hall parking lot from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. This will feature some games, food, and fun, and I think you can do all frozen turkeys for this event. 4th Annual Thanksgiving Trot 5K will take place on November 28th. We'll start at Webster Hill Elementary School, and it will start at 8 a.m. And there's a link to from Webster Hill on this sign up. First 450 registrants will receive a race hat, and you need to be 5 years old or older. West Hartford Art League 90th Anniversary Bohemian Soiree will take place November 30th at the Clubhouse Gallery. Attendees will enjoy an elegant evening with a signature cocktail, wine, past hors d'oeuvres, decades of artistic excellence. This milestone celebration will honor longtime supporters Sandy Chase, Neil Freuden, and Beth Reynolds for their dedication to the arts community. We really are grateful for all they do to make our community more beautiful. Thank you so much. The Ugly Xmas Sweater Musical will take place at Playhouse on Park December 4th to 22nd. Tickets range from $25 to $45 to $55, and they can be purchased online at Playhouse on Park. So I'll go to Methodist, and then I'll go to okay, go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So I have a few things. So we have the diaper drive in West Hartford United Methodist Church. Again, we have a drop-off box right in the front entrance, 1358 New Britain Avenue. That'll be going on for the next, through the winter, at least through January. And diapers, feminine products, non-food, a lot of non-food items that cost a little bit more, and these are things that are easily overlooked. We will take food items as well, and they all come down to the Town of Cares food pantry here in West Hartford. The other thing is we just wrapped up our pumpkins, and thank you for everybody that supported us. We raised just over $30,000 with the sales of our pumpkins. We get a percentage of that for the church that goes through nonprofit agencies within the state, and then a huge percentage goes to the Navajo tribe over in New Mexico, so they can pay for things like schools and stuff for the people in the tribe. And then another thing, I just want to echo some thank yous that you mentioned earlier to everybody that made this a safe polling, West Hartford, safe for pollings, all the volunteers, the most important, the registrar of voters. We asked for a tremendous lift. Their workload increased by like 1,000%. They were putting in long hours and had no choice, but they did it, and the process was smooth. I'm thankful for that. 83% voter turnout, that's tremendous. Again, that's a huge lift, and there isn't enough thank yous, for everyone that made this happen.
Thank you, Mr. Cortez. Mr. Walters.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and thank you, Mr. Cortez. Points taken there. West Hartford Pride will host Equality Connecticut and the Out Accountability Project and over a dozen other organizations from around the state of Connecticut for a rally in support of the LGBTQIA community. The rally will take place on this Sunday, November 17th at 11 a.m. in Blueback Square, the Webster Walk portion of Blueback Square. It will feature speakers from across the state and will focus on LGBTQIA plus voices. The event is designed to uplift voices and be a show of strength and solidarity for the community. We ask that folks bring their flags and signs of support. And for more information, please contact West Hartford Pride at info@westhartfordpride.org. I anticipate a large crowd. It has been spreading like wildfire through social media, and I think that it'll be a good personally, it'll be a good event and a good coming together of folks.
Thank you, Mr. Walters. Are there any other announcements? Okay, we do have a meeting before Thanksgiving, so we'll save our wishes for that, unless it's a very late meeting, and then we can cook. I don't know. So with that, I think that's all we have. I just cannot say enough. Please, please, please take your time to get somewhere. Don't rush in your car because it can change your life forever. All right, without objection, I make a motion to adjourn. Any objection? We are now adjourned. Thank you.